I really appreciate everyone being here this evening for our fall gathering. And as we start out, I just also want to thank our two event sponsors for the evening, Legacy Venture and the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. And your support really means a lot to us, so thank you so much for sponsoring the event this evening. So before I get started with a few brief opening remarks, I just thought I'd walk through the agenda. So we have just a really inspiring program this evening. After I give opening remarks, I'm going to introduce Allison Elliott, our SV2 board chair, and she is going to introduce our guest of honor for this evening, and we're really looking forward to having Rick share with us. And then following that, we have two wonderful social impact organizations speaking tonight. And so they're going to share with us the work on the ground that they're doing and how they're working alongside their communities, and I just think that's such a special treat. And after that, there's plenty of times afterwards just to continue connecting with each other and over coffee and dessert. So feel free to just continue to do the connecting that you've been doing up until now. So as I was thinking about the theme farther together this evening, I just could not keep my mind off what's been going on in the news, both locally and internationally. And many of you may have noticed that last week was the United Nations General Assembly meeting. And so I really found that really interesting to see what they were talking about and what they were writing news releases on. And you know, some of the news they had was pretty sobering. I mean, there was a real call to respond to challenges that affect what they were saying pretty much all countries in the world today. Issues of poverty, large inequalities, gender-based discrimination, and climate change. Those were the ones they named. But you know, one of the things that was hopeful is they said also there's been a lot of progress over the last 10 or 20 years. They said, first of all, and I remember this, you know, there was extreme poverty, and we still have that, but they said, you know, it's been reduced by a lot. The whole area of infant mortality has dropped quite a bit. They said access to energy in a lot of the developing world is going up, and also decent work opportunities are rising in many parts of the world. But they indicate there's just so much more to do, that we're far from where we need to be. And again, they talked about conflicts going on in the world, what they're now calling the climate crisis, gender-based violence, and persistent inequalities. And then 2 weeks ago, I actually got to hear Governor Newsom talk. And I learned a lot from that, because one of the things I learned was, even though California, we are so rich in resources here, we are now the highest poverty state in the United States adjusted for cost of living. That was sort of sobering. But he also just said, you know, the biggest opportunity to address some of that is just providing access to more affordable housing. I mean, that's just one of the things that he really talked about. So again, there's, you know, people understand the root cause. They understand there's some things that can be done to move that forward. So I just want to admit to all of you, I don't know how you all feel about this, but sometimes the state of the world can feel a little heavy to me. These issues can feel a little big. And that is why I think being in a community together is so important. And that's why being in a community going farther together is sort of our theme for this evening, because I actually have a lot of hope right now around some of these issues, because I have the opportunity to see there's some really positive initiatives starting up. And I'm in the room with people that have some really exciting ideas. And more importantly, I think I'm with a group of other people who care deeply about these issues also. And that is just such an encouragement to all of us to be in that type of community together. So when I think about going farther together in our broad SV2 community, and when I mean our broad SV2 community, I mean our partners, I mean our funder allies, I mean our grantees and our impact investees, our broad community. There's three big ways that we really want to go farther together. And the first one does start with partners in terms of transforming our own giving and engagement. And so in SV2, we have really strong values in our partnership and a really strong culture. And we really support each other along our giving journeys. And we want to be more generous and effective and compassionate givers. And so we all are supporting each other to just do that in our own lives. The second thing is, we really want to support and strengthen really promising social ventures, social enterprises and nonprofits. And So, they're doing the hard work on the ground. They're facing the toughest challenges. So what we want to do is provide access to financial capital and human capital to help them. SV2 provides 100% unrestricted funding. Yeah. We gave 500, yeah, we gave $525,000 away directly last year, but here's what's really touching you guys. On our partner survey this year, the people who chose to self-report it, they self-reported they gave over $1 million more on top of that $520,000 to organizations they learned about through SV2. And as an addition, as you know, we assign lead partners to all of our grantees and impact investees. We provide access to our networks. We provide access to capacity building resources. We just want to do everything we can to support these organizations. And then I think the final way is we really want to be a bridge between different parts of our community and different social impact leaders. So we want to be a bridge between our communities in Silicon Valley and around the world and get rid of the segregation. We want to be a bridge between not only the partners in our community, but our funder allies in the Valley. And we are so fortunate to have amazing funder allies in this Valley. When we do our grant rounds, almost every one of our grant rounds now has a funder ally where we have access to program officers cross-sharing their learnings with us, where they're providing access to organizations to us that just broadens the range of our knowledge of organizations doing great work. And then the last thing that just really is inspiring to me is I get to hear the most amazing personal partner stories. And what I share with people is almost what happens inside of SV2 is almost the tip of the iceberg compared to what I can see is going on outside of SV2, because people are just so activated. They're constantly engaging other networks. They're constantly engaging people that are working in government. They're constantly working with other nonprofits in different ways. And so I just think from a point of view of just thinking about going farther together, we just want to be that kind of community where people feel that they can engage in whatever way or level that is really activating to them and really feeling a sense of meaning and impact in the world and in the community. So one of the things, if you want to just learn a little bit more about SV2, is tonight, I didn't bring a copy up with me, but on your chair, here I can grab this, we have our brand new impact report. So actually I'll take that out a second, but Shannon's one step ahead. But here's our new impact report, so you all have it. And so I just invite you all, feel free to take that home this evening and read through it and just learn a little bit more about what we're doing. The second thing I wanted to mention is just what's going to be happening in the upcoming year. So we just have some really comprehensive programming this year, and the whole staff team and I and our board, everybody, we're just really excited about it. So this year we have 4 grant rounds, monthly impact investing working group, learning sessions, family philanthropy programming, and community events. And so this year we have 4 grant rounds, and you might wonder, how do we choose these grant round topics? And one of the biggest inputs is our partner survey every year. So this year on our partner survey, 2 of the top issues that were chosen was the environment and affordable housing, because we don't choose little topics at SV2. I mean, we pick the big and important ones, right? And so, we're facing that head on. We have an affordable housing grant round that just kicked off. For those of you that want to join it, you feel welcome to do that. We'll have our second meeting this month. We have amazing funder allies. We have the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative and the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, both as our funder allies for that grant round. And then we're going to be having an environment lightning grant round in the spring, and that's just in the planning stages, so stay tuned for that one. We also have a lightning grant round that's going to be coming up pretty soon, and in fact, I really encourage you to sign up for the next week. It's our Performing Arts grant round, and for those of you that went through the spring one, it was really great because, first of all, these organizations are performing arts, so they're doing amazing work supporting marginalized groups in our area, giving them a performing arts and a voice and an expression, right? But they're also just themselves just very interesting organizations to learn about and really inspiring to hear from. And so, again, we are very blessed to have the Hewlett Foundation both being our financial sponsor for that grant and our funder ally. So I really encourage you to engage with that if you're interested. And then finally, two of the other top issue areas in our survey was wanting to learn more about education and economic opportunity in our local communities. So in January through the spring, for our first time ever at SV2, we are going to be doing a community deep dive grant round where we are going to be picking a local community. We are going to be learning about not only their needs, but really their opportunities and their potential. And we are going to be supporting organizations in that community to help them reach that potential. And so that is what's going to be coming up also in the spring. We also have monthly impact investing working group meetings. And those are great meetings because we get to hear from just the coolest, most innovative social entrepreneurs every single month in those meetings. And we're excited to discover those this year. We're excited this year to also be able to, again, we'll sponsor a few of those and invest in a few of those in our impact investing portfolio. So again, any month, feel free to drop in on that one as well. And then for learning this year, we have 3 different types of learning we're going to be doing. Issue-focused learning. We'll be doing learning around, that's sort of what we call the how of giving, which is just how to be more effective in giving practices. But we started a new learning last year called the why of giving, which we call Get Proximate, for those of you that are familiar with Brian Stevenson. And I love our Get Proximate learning initiative. It's really the opportunity to have very deep experiential learning with some of our neighbors in our communities. And so we have 2 sessions coming up on sort of effective giving. One is the CEO of the Center for Collective Philanthropy, Bill Buchanan, is going to be joining us at the end of this month. How cool is that? A whole discussion with our community from the president of the Center for Collective Philanthropy. So that's a cool, great session to come to. And then we have another wonderful session in early November on nonprofit governance best practices. And so anybody that either wants to be on a nonprofit board or is in one, that is one not to miss. And then for our Get Proximate kickoff for the year, we are actually going to be partnering with Child Advocates of Silicon Valley. And I'm really excited about this because these are very deeply immersive experiences where you really do get a feel. And so one of the ways we're going to do this year is we're going to be understanding what it is like to be a foster child in dependency court in Santa Clara County. And this is going to be an opportunity to really be beta testers for really some immersive experiences that they're going to be testing out with us. So the other thing, in addition to our learning programs, I don't want to not talk about family philanthropy because we know formative life experiences shape your lifelong practices of service and giving. And this year we are going to have 5 SV2 Kids events to do community service work as families in our local communities with local nonprofits. Our SV2 Teens program is kicking off in January, and our teens will get together and learn together, but they're also going to do a grant round again together. They're actually going to be giving together this year around the issue topic that they pick. And we've also opened up a few of our other events to our teens this year if they just want to sit in and attend some of those. So we really are expanding our family philanthropy program. And then finally, community events. So we have a variety of just engagement opportunities. Tonight is one, but we also have interest circles. So we have interest circles this year in family philanthropy, impacting investing, and also in the environment. And we have, for this year, again, for the second year, board-hosted dinners. And if you've not gone to one of those yet, they are really fun, but it's just a way to go really deep over dinner with our community. And we also have our monthly SV2 book club, so we're going to continue to have that running this whole year. So there's just a lot of opportunity. Just engage in what's comfortable to you. In your impact report, there's a program guide that has on the back of the slide a lot of the events coming up. There's even more events than these, and so if you want the complete list of events, just feel free to go to our SV2 website. So in closing, I just feel developing networks of relationships is especially important today. It's just core to who we are at SV2. And one of the things I've realized is that a ton of research has been done over the last few years on the importance of building social capital. That's what they call it, building social capital. And one of the things I learned is in the last 30 years in the United States, there's actually been a pretty big decline in social capital. But they've also learned through research that the impact of building social capital is outsized. And what the research shows is that the ways people in relationship with each other can reach goals are far beyond people acting as individuals alone. The intrinsic satisfaction that people enjoy being part of a community is much higher than being alone. And there's also this proven additional benefit to others in society that are adjacent to that community that always occurs. And so I just want to thank you to our SV2 community and all of our friends for partnering with us to truly unleash the resources and talents of our Silicon Valley community. We really look forward to going farther together this year to achieve more meaningful social impact.